That doesn't sit right in my spirit and disrupts my peace. I couldn't sleep at night. I fell back into a person that I was 10 years ago. These were the words out of J. Cole's mouth in reference to his diss about Kendrick Lamar. This represents growth and giving yourself grace, even in a misstep. J. Cole's words sent the world into an uproar. There were so many comments about him taking an L, him making NC look bad. But for me, what I learned in this scenario, a lot of people do not understand what true peace is about and what it means to really have peace. If you're new here, I speak about peace and finding your peace all the time. So when this incident occurred, you now had to come with it. The reason why I say people don't understand peace and they haven't found true peace is because when you are at peace in your mind and in your soul, you are very in tune with your emotions. J. Cole said what he said because it did not sit right in his spirit. He said he could not sleep after the diss was released. And that's very similar if you're going through things and you can't sleep, you can't eat, because your spirit is not settled. You are not settled in your spirit whatsoever. And until you settle in your spirit, that is something that's going to continuously eat at you and eat at you until you find your peace. One thing about being at peace, when you apologize or you accept things for what they are and move on, it does not have to make sense to anybody but you. You have to do what makes sense for you, even if the entire world does not agree. And I'm not saying the entire world disagree with him, but there was a lot of people that did not agree with him. But guess what? That apology wasn't for y'all. It wasn't for all the commentators. It wasn't for all these podcast hosts and music buffs. It was never for anybody. It was for him to regain and reclaim his peace. It wasn't for us. And that's what people don't understand. When you do things for you and find your peace, it don't matter what it looks like to everybody else. It doesn't matter what everybody else has to say. We need to take that from him, because while the whole world was talking, saying what they had to say, my boy was probably asleep like a chimp. Big sleep. Got that peace back. You sleep really good when you're at peace. He said he couldn't sleep right. I guarantee you he couldn't sleep right. But once that apology and he got that off his chest and off his heart, my boy was sleeping real good. And we over here writing dissertations and making videos about this, and he's sleeping good. He didn't lose anything, because the people that really support him and rock with him and understand J. Cole, I'm a big J. Cole fan. If you understand J. Cole, he's really not about that. He's never been about that. But he stepped out of character, and he even said that I took a misstep because he was listening to outside noise and outside factors. So sometimes when you're living for the world, you take missteps and you step outside of your character just to prove a point. And that happens to all of us. We've all been there. And I'm not going to lie, I get there sometimes still. I was just there yesterday. You let the outside world come in and change who you are, and I get it. But it's okay. You got to bring it back. And however that looks for you bringing it back, you need to do that. And again, if the world doesn't get it, it's not meant for them to get. You're the person that has to live with your soul. I also like that he acknowledged the fact that he did take a misstep. That's the thing that we have to do as well. Recognize when you mess up. Understand we're going to mess up. Players mess up too. But guess what? You acknowledge it, you take it in, and you see how you're going to move forward in the future. It's a learning lesson. Everything is a learning lesson. And he learned in that moment that's not what he wants to do. That's not his spirit. And that's not what he's giving his energy to. And that's the same thing that we need to start doing. Certain things that take us out of our character, we got to stop giving it energy. And it's hard. Trust me, I know it's very hard. And when we do sometimes step outside of who we are trying to be and who we have elevated to be. Recognize it, shake yourself off, and just know better for next time. Don't allow it to happen again. And know that if it does, you can always redirect and realign your spirit. It is okay. Humans, we're constantly growing, we're constantly evolving, and what you have to do is learn from it, grow from it, and move on. You can't keep harping on it, keep harping on what people have to say about how you handled something. As long as you know that you're not perfect, and J. Cole has a song, Nobody's Perfect, because it's true. Nobody's perfect. We're all going to take missteps. It's a part of life. You can't let a mistake that you made haunt you and continue to disrupt your sleep patterns, your eating patterns, and things like that, all because you don't want the world to view you a certain way. Absolutely not. You have to grow and elevate past all the noise. With that though, when you step out of your character and you have those missteps, you also gotta be willing to accept the consequences that come with those missteps. Of course, we're not perfect. Things are gonna happen, but also sometimes they come with consequences. And that's why J. Cole said, whatever you come back with, my chin is out. He stepped out of his character. He allowed other people in his ear. And he felt like in that moment, that's what he had to do. So if there are consequences that come with this, outside of people saying what they're saying, but if Kendrick Lamar comes back at him with another diss, hey, he already said it. Like, it is what it is. It happens. It happens to the best of us. It could be something as small as just the disruption of your own peace. Not being able to sleep, not being able to eat. It could be the loss of someone you really cared about. There's so many things that can come with a misstep, and you have to be willing to accept that. It's a part of life, and you're still learning, and that may be part of the learning lesson. You got to accept the consequences that come with a misstep. And he is willing and ready to accept any consequences that come with this misstep. And that's what we need to do as well. When you do misstep, acknowledge it, but also be ready for anything that comes with that. But you also gain peace from that. You gain peace from learning, and you're not going to make that mistake again. And if you do, well, you know, it might come with consequences. I personally feel like J. Cole taught us a lot in this moment. Whether you choose to acknowledge it or to accept it, we learned a lot from him in that moment. J. Cole taught us that sometimes reclaiming your peace is not going to sit well with everyone. And that's fine. Because at the end of the day, you're the one that has to live with your soul. People are going to say what they want to say. People are going to disagree with your decisions. But you have to live for you. You're the one that is losing sleep at night. These people aren't losing sleep at night. You're losing sleep at night because you haven't made peace with yourself. And until you make peace with yourself and you continue to live how the world wants you to live, you're not going to be at peace, and you're going to continue to lose sleep, lose your appetite, because you're not living for you. You got to live for you and let the background noise be exactly what it is. Background noise.